Hi, everybody. How you doing this morning? We had a really terrible day yesterday with rain and really bad, and today's the opposite. So it's very good. How's everybody doing? Everybody staying safe and so forth. Oh wow. Hi, Geezer. How you doing? Abdul. Rich Buddy. How are you? Um, let's see what's going on here. Williams watches. Hi, and Johnny or John. Okay, let's see. Junior Johnson, hello. Joas, how are you? Okay, Kyle. Okay, everybody, is the sound okay and everything? I enjoy Brazilian coffee and Indonesian luwak coffee. This is called Coffee Basuyo. I'm not sure where it's from. Drink lots of green tea too. Will do. I love green tea, so I don't know if we have any. Hey, we're not going out to get any. We've been doing shopping every 2 weeks, so otherwise we're staying safe. Hey, ZL, how are things in Singapore? Okay, let's get let's get cooking. Hi, Eddie. Um, some of you guys were here yesterday afternoon, or I guess it would be for some. It may have been yesterday morning. I don't know. It's a time thing. Um, anyway, somebody in this group, I forgot who it was, said, "Well, why don't you see about Rolf Langs?" And I said, "No, I don't think that would work because lots of reasons." But then I thought about it. I went back to his site, and he has something called Canaletto in black. All right, that was what I had before. Um, this is what it looks like. Okay, it's instead of having a gold gilded um, plates and bridges on the back. Okay, like this one. This is the one that is in the watch that we had. You can't tell with these black and white pictures, but this one's gold, and this one looks a lot different in black. Let me do this. Let me put uh, uh, the link to Rolf Lang's site so that you guys can take a look at it while I'm talking about it. I don't have to keep saying, well, it really looks different. Hang on, let me get that thing set up. Um, and these are what I'm going to is called calibers. Okay. All right. Now, this is the English version. They also have German and Russian versions of it. So now here's the link for you right there. Okay. All right. So you want to take a look at that. It might help that we can talk about this. Quarantine like everyone else here in the world. Yeah, we're all quarantined. we're, you know, sometimes, I'm starting to sort of like it. I guess, but I wasn't very far from quarantine in the sense that, well, hung around the house pretty much anyway, since I'm retired. And so, but I don't like the idea of not being able to go to the store. Saying, oh, I need this. I'll just run down the store. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but if the store is open. Hey, pseudoscientist. Hi, Kyle. Okay. Yeah, everyone's ready to be done with it, Kyle. Me too, because then I won't have to have these two live streams every day. Yeah. The part that I don't know why, it was sort of, I was thinking, well, there's less traffic and there's a lot of other things too. Yeah. Anyhow. Okay. Hi, Rowan. Um, okay. So here's what I got to thinking. First of all, I got an email from Wooten Lannon and Callan today, and they asked me, what I thought about this and that and so forth. And I told them, I said, well, we've been rethinking some of the movements, and I asked them, and I gave them the specs on this movement. I'd already given them the specs on the Vaucher movement we had talked about, and I also asked them if they had any off-the-shelf movements that we could buy those. And I told him, he said, well, just, go ahead and whip up a, 2D, 3D CAD cam up here. So wait a minute, just told him we're going a lot slower than that. And trying to get everything, worked out. And I think right now there may be some opportunities in trying to move something along, because these bigger companies work with a lot of people together. And we don't have that problem. We're all over the world. Hi, Dominic. So yeah, yeah, okay, Judge, I've seen Kangol. That's more of a military. That's the way it looks to me. Hi, Fahrenheit. Off the shelf Wouter and Kalen movements, Fahrenheit. Check out their site. That's what they advertise. No. Did I say movement? I meant case. Sorry about that, Fahrenheit. Yeah, off the shelf case that they might have. There's certain standard sizes. ETA has all of these watches. Now, I don't think Wouter and Kalen are exactly making movements for ETAs, but a lot of other movements use the same dimensions as ETAs, so they could take their movement, put it into a case that already exists without a lot of extra work to it. Okay, so anything off the shelf from Wouter is to be better than anything on the market. Yeah, that's what I figured. I told them, I said, look, one other option, if they do have something off the shelf, and by off the shelf, they may say, well, we did all of this work for Ophium, and we had one of theirs. You want to buy one like that? I think I can buy one. And same with Rolf Lang. I said, I'll buy one, and then we could, sort of work something up and see if it worked. Sort of do a proof of concept, and then take it to the, once the quarantine's over, take it to this guy who lives, just down the freeway from me. He's just a few towns over. And in Connecticut, the towns aren't very big and the distances aren't very far. And so what used to be my commute amount of travel when I lived in San Diego and never left city limits is about how far this guy lives away. It was like, 20 minutes or so on the highway. Okay, so this is where I am right now, waiting to hear back from Rolf Lang. It was like 2:18 a.m. in the morning that the one from Wouter and Kalen was sent. So anyway, that's I guess we'll see what happens. It's like one of those things that having a really good movement as the center of the watch, I think, is, to me anyway, the most important thing. You can have there's some really good looking watches out there that just sort of have junky movements in it. I don't want that. Okay, so let's hear some ideas from you guys. First of all, did you take a look at that link I sent you? And you can take a look at this guy right here. Now I could ask him, I said, we could get one without the engraving, and maybe put something up here like RD, what would it be? RLD, and then some number next to it. Okay. Like the what's it called? The UWD 33.1, which is a Langenheim movement. Well, anyway, okay. By the way, too, I got on my, this is, speaking of Langenheim, this is my Langenheim, Frederick II. Can't see it very well. This is the part, though, that I tell you, what I really like about this is this movement. I don't know if you can see, it has that trigonal bridge, and you can see all of the parts of it. And then on top of the balance uh, pinion, great big diamond. He said that's a German tradition. I don't know any other German watchmakers that do that. Somebody told me there was one that did it, and I think I did see one, but they had like the diamond that looks like, a little bitty one you could hardly see. But they put a big old mine diamond on this, because I asked them about that. I said, "Is that man-made or mined?" And they said, "Oh, it's mined." So there. Okay, Abdul, what? Moser might have a good deal on movements. That was another thought I had, and I agree. We'll see what happens with this other one. We know that the only problem with Vaucher that I can see is that you have to order 25. And so you end up with a great big investment with something that you don't even know whether is going to, get off the ground or not. And the only way to do it is to come up with a concept, a working concept of it, a prototype, if you will, and then go from there. If it doesn't work, we're not out, what, $50,000. Okay, Kyle. Kyle is saying that the aftermarket of deployant class isn't very good. This is the deployant class that comes with Lang and Heim, and it's not my favorite. I like the butterfly class, where you give them a little squeeze and the whole thing comes open. Okay, Fahrenheit 451. You're going to have to modify that last sentence of yours. They blocked it. So it's really funny is that the comments on YouTube, they want you to be really certain words you can't use, otherwise they just block it. And for most people, just talking naturally, but here we have to be a little more careful. Okay, in other words, let's see, taking a look at all the links you share, Bill, all goodies to now. If not, I'll immediately start complaining. That's not what he says, but that's what he means. Saw your class and it looked nice. Yeah, it's a nice class, but it's, like, but to open it, you have to sort of yank on it, and I hate to do that. With these things, they charge a fortune for these for replacement straps, and it's hard to I mean, almost impossible to find a strap that goes in with 3 lugs. And so what you have to do is that if I get them, and then I have to take an X-Acto knife and cut in another notch, and there's all this other malarkey. So I just thought I could worry about it and wear the thing. That's another thing too. I know some people, they buy a watch, it's brand new, and they get tired of looking at it in their case and decide to sell it. And when they sell it, the band is in pristine shape because they've never used it. Now, there's another alternative that I accept for something like this, and I'd have to either have bespoke or make it myself, is to use beater bands. That's what I use. Take my really good bands and put them aside for watches I wear a lot. And since I use leather bands predominantly, I can beat the daylights out of them. And then when I go to something fancy, which isn't often, I'll have a really nice band. Oh, okay. Who's your favorite AHCI member? Well, I'm a member of it. Oh, let's see, AHCI. I like so many of them. They got, boy, I don't think I have a favorite there. I like them all. Um, the ones that I like the most, of course, I like FP Journe. I like, Kerry Voutilanen. I like, Ahsoka, I think that's his name, Haji Ahsoka. Who else? You know, who just became a member is David Candu, and his stuff is really interesting. And he is working with somebody now, making something very interesting. I'd read it somewhere. I forgot who it was. Okay, pseudoscientists. I mod a few channels, and I have approved so many posts now. Messes up chat flow and may think you are the one blocking their chat. Really? Okay, approve. I have. Okay, all right, pseudoscientist. Single deployant clasp is good for bracelets. Yeah, I like I the ones I have on. I only have one. The one I used to have on my Vacheron Constantin overseas. One kept popping open, so apparently it happened to a lot of people. Okay, I like Voutilanen, Chaikin, Siren. Siren. I'm not sure who Siren is. I'll have to look him up. All of the AHCI watch wizards are great. I agree. They're all great. They have in their own way. What David Candu has, I don't know why I see his stuff as a one-trick pony. It's not. What it is, it makes his stuff very distinct, and that's his hidden crown. He's got the crown hidden inside, and you push a button, and out pops the crown. So that was one thing. Hey, Peter, can you talk in German? 9. I don't understand your interested talk, whatever that is, but thank you. uh, I wish I could speak in German. I love all languages. I'm terrible at them, though. I like French. I like German. I like Spanish. I can speak some Spanish pretty decently. What else do I like? I'd love to be able to speak Mandarin. I used to speak Japanese when I was pretty young, but I forgot it all. Um, what other languages? I like them all. I'm a big language freak who has no skill whatsoever in that area. Hi, Lee. How you doing? How many watchmakers are there? Fahrenheit 451. Are you talking about? Oh, how many watchmakers are there? You mean in the AHCI? Why don't you go count them? You can go there. That place is worth visiting because what you can do if you go to AHCI, click on members, you can see all the members. But this might be the real gold mine. You have members who are waiting to be accepted. Stefan Kadoki is one. Last year, David Candu was, and so the idea is that get one of these guys watches before they become an AHCI member, before they become famous, and they go up in price. Okay, 29. All right, Abdul. You didn't improve Fahrenheit 451. Okay. All right. So where are we now? First of all, is everybody okay with what we talked about? The whole idea of going to contacting. Well, I already contacted Rolf Lang. That was because of the afternoon group told me to do it, so I did. And no, you're Abdul. Quit spoiling Fahrenheit. All right. So is that okay with everyone? I mean that one I had. Then the next, and then I also contacted Voutilanen and Kalen. Any other ideas of places that we might find stuff? Abdul, you got any ideas? Oh boy, Peter, I'm sorry. I wish I could speak German. I'll tell you what you can do. Somebody who speaks English and German, when I say something, type it out in German for Peter. Okay. Okay, let's get back. At this point, I'm lost. Yeah. Okay, Junior. Sorry. So let's look at this. The idea is to come up with a a really good watch, a high horology watch, and take a look at what kind of movement they have that we'd like to have. Now, it's funny because the first one was a Vaucher simply because they happen to have, you can buy watches directly from them. The but all of their movements are automatics. So we're stuck with an automatic. But the idea of a three-hand movement, everybody pretty well agreed on that. The problem with this one, it's three hands, but one of them is a subdial at 6 o'clock. So anyway, so let's hear some other ideas. Now, as far as Glashütte movement makers, um, they I'd like to wait until I hear back from Rolf. He's in Dresden. There's something about Dresden watchmakers that I really like. The Glashütte is more popular and better known, but I can't think of a bad one coming out of Dresden. You have Langenheim, of course, which is, I don't know how you'd consider that. But then you have Stefan Kadoki, and then you have Rolf Lang. So that would be sort of add a touch of class to it, I think. Um, okay, ZL Habring 2. I had thought of that. The A11 would be a neat movement to have, but they produce Marie and Richard Habring produce so few that I don't think they're gonna, for their watches, so they can keep up with their demand. They're only making what 150, 200 watches a year, if that. I really don't even know how many they make, but they don't make a lot. And so they're not going to have a lot of leftover A11s. I wouldn't think. Maybe we could get, sort of like, you got any that fell off the workbench, something we can work with. Hi, something. Um, okay. All right. Any other ideas you guys have? You're still thinking about it. I can see those emoji clouds above your head coming out, right? They come right out of the Hi, Willie T. Uh, uh, I just read Willie T's comment. And the whatever it is, the filter didn't get Willie's comments. Apparently, you can say whatever you want in German. They don't care. Um, all right. Uh, Due to the virus, will he answer within a month? This is one of the things, John, that I'm getting really good responses that I didn't get before the quarantine. Here you got a bunch of watchmakers and watch companies sticking around, like, they can't go out and they can't have, like, Rolex can't go out and run a bunch of polo ponies around and put their big sign up. And so, what are they going to do? And then everybody who usually gets together is doing it through Zoom or like we are, something like this. So it may be that's, a customer shows up and says, "Hey, here's an idea of something to do while you're in quarantine." What I put to Rolf was this: is that everybody's in quarantine, and this might be an interesting project. We already talked about how to make a watch. I don't know. Did any of you take up a watchmaking project of your own since we started even mentioning that? Okay, Eddie. Okay, KK Chrome. Good evening. Late to the party as usual. Yes, you are. Hi, pseudoscientist. Um, what's up, KK Chrome? We're still talking about putting a high level watch together. Zoom is a lot like YouTube. Everyone in the world can listen in on your conversation. Ah, okay. Yeah, we had a sick relative. Wasn't uh, coronavirus, but yeah, he was getting over something, and so the whole family from all over the country got together and wished him well and stuff. And that we use Zoom for that, which is sort of cool. I tried to regulate my Edox vintage watch, and I cleaned two watches. Okay, that's good. Hey, Abdul, did you get your Edox regulated? Hi, Evan. Were you speaking about the Vaucher 5401? No, that's a nice one. No, we were talking about the 3002. That was the one that we had. With the 3002 had the very least expensive Vaucher three hand had a 3.9 millimeter width, and the 3002 had a same thing, three hands, had a center seconds, had a 3.7 millimeter height. So figure that was better. Okay, success or disaster. Yes, it's working now. +4. That's great. That's very good. Okay, this might be a perfect time. Extra time parts. Yeah, Lee, exactly what I was thinking too. I bought a cheap movement Miyota clone, case, dial, hands, and band, and managed to put them all together into a working watch with a date window. Hey, I don't blame you being proud of it. I've never put one together with a date window, and I think that's a great idea. Miyota is another one of those watch movements. You can find those online, lots of places, and they're relatively inexpensive. And if you're just learning watchmaking, you're screwing around with it, that's a great one to have, because if it breaks, you're not out $1,000 for a high price movement. So I think that's really cool, Willie. Willie, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you're the one who speaks English and German. I forget. Let's see. Hello, chaps. Late this morning. Hope all is well with everyone. Yeah, we were worried about you there, a GMT master. We figure that you're there on two ventilators and they had you hooked up and making out your will. See, that's what happens when you show up late here. Okay, all right. Well, how are we doing on time? Well, we're just about out of time. All right. Well, I'm waiting to hear back from the two, both from Boot and Lannon and Caton um, for the cases, and then Rolf Lang. On this other thing, not much I can do about it until this quarantine. That's on the dial, but we'll see. We got some time. Okay, everybody. Oh yeah, try to get some exercise. That's another thing. And I don't know what you're binge watching, but I've got a lot of stuff. Take care, and either this afternoon or again tomorrow.